a training program for those looking to start a new business. I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me is Carlos Medina. He's chairman of the statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for being with us. It's great to see you, Carlos.
Thanks for having us.
This is a 12-week training program, and it's for people who are looking to start a new business. It's challenging when you're thinking about starting a business to come up with a business plan, to gain access to capital, but that's the intention of this 12-week program, to help people along that pathway.
Yeah, definitely. We've been asked for maybe 2-3 years if we would take something on, so it is through a grant for the state of New Jersey that we're able to launch it. We've already built the different curriculum, and we're taking applicants if people want to go to the website. It has to be residents from central New Jersey is the region that we're covering. So yeah, anything from website design, we'll build a website for them with a web designer, social media training, what type of legal entity, anything, anything to start their business.
Anything to start their business, but can it be any type of business?
Yeah, any type of business, restaurants, professional services.
And as you mentioned, you are taking applications for this, and people can visit the website for more information about that. Applicants from the central New Jersey region. And with that, you are trying to have more events throughout the state of New Jersey, including the central part of the state, but also in the southern portion of New Jersey as well.
Yeah, we did an event last week with the Small Business Administration in Trenton to recognize one of our members, which won Small Business of the Year for New Jersey, and actually was second runner-up for the entire United States, Mike McKelly, San Antonio Trucking. And we do an annual event now in Atlantic City every November during the League of Municipalities. And we're doing something with the South Jersey Chamber of Commerce in October in the Cherry Hill area. So we're teaming, we looked for many partnerships to be able to do, what we're trying to do.
To really have that reach throughout the state of New Jersey. And with that, you are looking, as you mentioned, to develop those partnerships. I want to ask you, though, about normalized relationships with Cuba. You have personal connections to Cuba. Obviously, there's controversy surrounding normalized relationships between the United States and Cuba, but for your membership, what are you hearing? Are you hearing enthusiasm? Are you hearing that businesses are anticipating potentially more customers with normalized relationships? What's the conversation right now?
It's interesting because it is very sensitive, and I recognize fully that a lot of people suffered when Castro came into power. But the typical call is, I'm interested, I have an engineering firm, I have a construction company. They ask a lot of questions and they're like, Carlos, please keep this very confidential. I don't want it to be public that I'm inquiring about doing business. So I think there's a quiet majority of individuals interested, and the minority is louder. So sometimes the perception is the Cuban-American business community is against relations with Cuba. I would argue that a poll would show that they're in favor of relations, and I think opening relations will help open democracy, because right now the island's very isolated.
You recently went to Cuba. Tell us about that experience.
I was there 3 nights. We visited literally with hundreds of businesses. There was one artisan center where there were artists and craft makers, and they're 100% owned by the individual. They pay taxes. I think it's something 30 to 40% tax bracket they're in. We visited a farm, an organic farm with 100 employees. Again, he pays tax much lower. It's like a 5% tax that he pays. But they're businesses. Many critics will say that every business is a partner with the government, and that's not the fact. At least that's not what I saw when we went down there.
When you hear arguments for and against normalized relationships with Cuba, is it a generational argument? Because an older generation who may have had to flee because of Castro coming into power has a very different relationship, a very different view of Cuba than a younger generation who's never been there.
Exactly, and I'm very respectful of that. My own mother-in-law was against me visiting the island, so she's still a little angry with me for taking the visit. And it is that generation. Individuals in their 80s they felt it more, and I understand that fully. But again, I feel that it's going to be a positive, and I'm hoping that they'll realize that at the end of the day, with mutual respect, I think it'll be a positive for everybody.
Come back, give us an update.
Will do.
Thanks so much for being with us, Carlos. Good to see you.
Thank you.
We've been talking with Carlos Medina. He's chairman of the statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm Jill Horner.